Rightio, we are on. Michelle Bakker, welcome to the Luke Farr Show to motivate, educate, and inspire our next generation of leaders. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Much appreciated. And, great to chat to you because we haven't been speaking for the last, half an hour on sports, have we? So it's great to finally chat with you.
Yeah, don't get me started.
That's so good. I guess just to give the audience some context from your history and we're tracking back here from the Record Plant recording studio in Los Angeles, 1993, where you worked with, this is absolutely phenomenal, you worked with Prince, 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, Barbara Streisand, then to managing a few bands which included No Wild, which you actually negotiated and signed a 6-figure recording contract with Columbia Records in New York. You worked with the Caverns, Lyric to Be, Dead Poet Society, Jacob Rees-Thornton, just to name a few names. You're also a life purpose coach for creatives, a yoga teacher, and now a music business consultant for Satellite 13 Entertainment Group. I mean, first things first, I want to ask, what was it like working with Prince?
Oh, that was incredible because we couldn't call him Prince then. So I'd walk into the studio and I'd think, okay, I've got to get how am I going to ask this question without calling him, by his name? But I would actually just say what it was that I was there to say, and he would respond. He just knew. And he was just so super cool. He would walk into the studio every day. He'd get out of his limo or whatever with his men, his security. But he'd have this beautiful woman with him, always stunning,
How many, like 2 or 3?
Two, like 2, yeah. And they were different, or women all the time, and his outfits. But he was super, he was super focused. Like that's what I really remember the most about him. Like he was just sort of like really in his zone. There was no kind of noise around him. It was just like, it was almost like he was just really, just so focused. It was quite amazing, quite amazing.
Quite a friendly guy, or quite ego driven?
No. In my experience, Luke, the more successful, the more down to earth, the more humble these guys are. Yeah. I mean, Prince quoted once, I love this quote. He said, when I first started out in the music industry, I was most concerned with freedom to produce, freedom to play all the instruments on my records, and freedom to say anything I wanted to. I mean, Michelle, do you think like the freedom for artists nowadays is kind of completely gone effectively because it's all about, hey, is this track going to make money and make? No, I actually think the opposite in a way, because I think now with all the different means of social media, basically artists can sit at home in their studio, sit at home in their living room with a computer, make music and put it out there to the world, right? So they have access to releasing whatever it is that they want globally, saying whatever that they want. Whereas I think when you, back in the day, signed to a record label, there was just control. I've worked with artists that have released a song and then been ready to release, a second song, but the label's gone, no, we need to shelf that until we get X amount of sales. So there's been the control of that. Or, an artist has been really super excited about this new song that they wrote and gone to the label and played it. No, it doesn't work, it doesn't fit. It's all these things, So I think, a couple of years ago, I was doing a talk, and I remember feeling then, and through the pandemic, I felt it even more, Luke. I find it a really exciting time to be a creative and making music and putting it out there. I think it's a really exciting time.
Yeah, it is very exciting. I think like what you were saying around like the record label dictating, if we're moving forward, but nowadays it's the audience that's dictating the success. But then the audience, though, like when you look at sort of what's your opinion on, okay, well, let's say the audience is dictating whether or not your track is liked or unliked, but the ones that are liked, aren't they all following us? Like if we're talking mass scale audience, they're all following a pretty structured format to make a tune that makes money and gets a large audience, right? Like
Yeah.
if we're talking freedom of artists, but you look at the ones that really express their unique creative talent. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's so subjective, but the ones that, you know, go far are the ones that, I mean, I don't like to use the word quote unquote sell out.
Yeah.
But they're the ones that are really, they're being dictated by what the industry works with on a profitability level, don't you think? Or
Yeah. I think ultimately, I think no matter what, I think it still comes down to the song, right? I think that's where it starts, is the actual song.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, if you've got an artist that's written this song that, you know, has got all the magic in it or whatever, or it says what it says, and you've got a record label at your side, with the record label, you're going to have the bigger machine. You know, they've got so much more reach and control with all of those different sort of like outlets that you want to get the song to, radio, press, everything like that. But for me, I really truly believe this, Luke. I reckon, you know, I believe that if you write that song and you're all about the journey, right? Okay, you're not going, oh my God, I've written this song and now I'm going to hand over the control of my success in my life to this third party, right? If you change your perspective and go, right, this is who I am. Right? I'm writing for me because I can't stop thinking about being an artist. I can't stop thinking about these melodies in my head, you know, and I'm going to write the song. I'm going to create my Instagram account or my, you know, Facebook account. I'm going to be real, right? I'm going to be real. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to release this song, and I'm going to talk to my fans. It might be 5 today. Next week, it could be 25. You know, but like it and talk to them, because you know what? I wrote this song and I'm really proud of it. And, you know, and so I think that if you start there, okay, you're in control. You're not going, oh my gosh, I've been rejected by Columbia. I've been rejected, blah, blah, blah. You're right. No, I'm getting feedback. I'm getting feedback, good feedback from these 10 people. And you know what? I'm all about the journey. So I'm going to continue. I might make a music video as I'm like, you know, going out to Piha or something like that about the song. What happens then, Luke? What happens then is that those powers of be, they're all watching, right? So, you know, the more you start to shine your light, right? The more you start to get a bit of noise around you, a bit of energy happening. Hopefully you're playing shows at the same time, and then those shows are selling out. It might be 20 people, but it's still selling out, right?
It's 20 people that really love it. That's important.
It so is. It's
not 100,000 people and only 50 there love it. You know what I mean? Like everyone's there just because of the hype. Like at least those 20 are there because they literally love your music.
100%. And then those 20 people, at least 2 of them will tell their mates. What we've got is we've got an organic growth, and it's real, right? So it can't be fabricated. It can't be kind of changed. It's real. And so the more you continue to engage and grow, right? And share your music, communicate, engage, those people that you think that you want to attract into your music career are gonna find you. They're gonna find you. To me, at that point, you know, we've fast tracked. We're probably at like, you know, maybe, I don't know, 100,000 people liking your video or something now. But then it's up to you. Do you need that? Do you need that entity? Do you need that major label who's got, you know, how good is that deal going to be? You know, I think it's exciting now because I think you can do it yourself. You know, but it's got to come back down to the truth of the song, I think, and the truth of the art. That's what,
Yeah, very great insights there, Michelle. I was there was a chat that I had many moons ago with Angus from Angus and Julia Stone when he first signed with Columbia, and they just had like 10 mil drop into their bank account overnight. But then he said But then he said, you know what? But then I was held captive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I was now just a puppet in their string of how they want to use me. And so there's an element of freedom that's lost there. And same with there's this famous rapper called Nori who came up in kind of Tupac era, and he runs this podcast called The Drink Champs. But he was interviewing ASAP Rocky and said, "Oh, you must be so stoked about that #1 hit of yours, Problems." And ASAP turned around, he goes, "I hate that song. It's my worst song because they told me to write that because it was a hit, and he had no creative freedom and didn't really express himself."
Yeah.
And that's the balance, right, between getting with these big labels that literally just sell you out and sure you make money, but it's not really expressing who you actually are as an artist.
Exactly. Unless 100% agree with you, and I love Angus and Julia's point, by the way.
There's a caveat.
Yeah, sorry, but unless, okay, I fully agree with you. But if you've got, if you, the artist, have a really good manager who's in the face of the label,
Yeah,
on the phone, what are you doing with this next release? What are you doing with this, right? If you've got, and if that band or that musician has a manager that is driving the momentum, I still don't, even when we sign with Columbia, you don't just go, oh, right, now, okay, I'm leaving it up to you. You can't do, I mean, I just don't do that. You know, it's like I was in the face of that label going, right, we've got a single coming out in 3 months. Where are we going with it? You know, so I think it comes
did you have quite a solid and very like trustworthy relationship with a lot of these big record labels?
Totally, because I've been in the music business for so long that, you know, when you're consistent, you know, like when you just are still in it, there's, you know, like, oh my God, she's still doing it, or she's still there. And I'm so about the art that if I come to you, you know that I'm 100% in it, you know. And so
yeah, I do. You don't seem like the personality that'll be shy to pick up the phone.
no, but the thing is, what the magical thing about No Wild is they were a New Zealand band, and I was in America.
Right. Oh wow.
And I was actually in London with my mentor who's passed away, but his name was Jazz Summers.
Oh,
and
rest in peace.
Yeah, he the first band he ever managed was Wham.
Wham,
Right?
classic.
So and he was, you know, I went on the road with him in England with Pink Floyd's manager doing for his book tour. So you can imagine the stories that I was just listening to all the time. Anyway, I wanted to leave the music business and just do yoga and mindfulness. And Jazz Summers in London said to me, Bakker, don't. I was like, no, I'm done, because now it's all about the numbers. It's all about the likes. You know, it's not about the art.
Is that your nickname, Bakker?
Well, most of the people in the music business call me Jimmy, because Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
But most of the business people in the music business call me Bakker.
What do you think they called you, Jimmy? What can you play Purple Haze or?
No, it was the first artist that I ever listened to, and I mean, I grew up as an only child,
right?
And I got hold of a Jimi Hendrix album, and that was it. You know,
That was it.
Like,
you were sold.
My
I was
mother
going to ask you that actually, like, sort of what got you into this whole entertainment industry? Did you fall into it? Was it always a sort of set vision and a path? You were like, right, I'm so keen and gung ho to show my strides in this industry, or how did it come about for you?
You know, my mother played music through my whole childhood, right? Like we did everything to music, right? So music kind of just added to your life. And I was an only child, and music in my teenage years became my best friend. You know, like Carole King, Ricky Lee Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, you know, they all had the answers in their song.
That's a very fascinating. I did do a little bit of homework around what music does emotionally for humans. It's a fascinating one, isn't it? I mean, when you said music becomes your best friend, I mean, what's your take on, so the question really is how does music evoke our emotions? Like it does wonders for our mood and our soul and vibes, and has even allegedly healed like the sick, you know, like what do you think it is about the power music that can change us, it can motivate us, it can inspire us, but also evoke the opposite too. It can evoke like tears of emotion and overwhelming sadness. Like, it's interesting how melodies and instruments and all of this together like hits a certain part of you that you're like, oh my God, I'm about to break down, or like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now. Like,
100%.
You must have surely thought about this, and you being also into yoga and spiritual energy, you know, what's your take on that one?
Well, I think it's all vibration. You know, I think that, like, because I listen to a lot of I was listening to mantras, you know, before we got on here. Mantras are my go-to everything, and basically the repeating of the mantra invokes a good sense of being inside yourself. It's all about the vibration, and I have this thing that whenever I listen to a song or someone sends me music, Luke, I just seem to hear this vibration in the music, and where my mind goes is, God, the world needs to hear this. That's that's what happens to me. Like when, and I think melody, what you said, huge. Greg Johnson, who I managed, he writes songs, his melodies they just get me right in here, you know, and I just was at his concert just recently, and I was happily reminded of why I got into the music business, because I was at the Tuning Fork in Auckland, and Greg started playing his, you know, the set, and I just watched all these people moving up closer to the stage and getting closer to their partners. You know? And then, like, you know, he's putting his arm around her and she's looking up at him and they're singing away, and I went, oh my God.
That was from just the music though, right? Let's get that clear. No external substances were involved. Let's talk about MDMA, the love drug, you know.
Right.
It was the music, people. It was the music.
Who would know? Yeah. But I just thought, wow, man, this is what I love, this effect that these songs are having on on these people. And for me, you know, growing up, it was lyrically, you know, like it was lyrics that just kind of said everything that I didn't know what to say. And it just became something that I could rely on and I could trust. Like, music was just always there. So I just got so heavily into music as a teenager, I suppose, you know, and then left school and started working at EMI Records. You know, I turned down a scholarship to America. My mother was horrified. She was just, you know, an AFS scholarship.
What was the scholarship for?
AFS, like American Field Scholarship, I think it was. And I was also.
What were you a gun at school? Were you like math, science, English, or you're like the whole lot, Luke?
No.
I was just, look, mate, I was a guru at everything, sports included, obviously.
I did play netball. I was captain of the netball team too.
Great. Old shout out old Van Dyke, yeah.
No, I just applied. It was an American Field Scholarship, so it wasn't like, you know, based on your academic skills or whatever, but you'd go to America and live for a year. And
sounds like a field scholarship. It's like you're a guru at orienteering. Is that what you got the scholarship for?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, I never went, so I just oh God, I think I broke my mother's heart in a way, but I didn't feel it, you know. So I went and got a job at working in the music business. I went and applied. They weren't hiring. I said, can I sit a quiz? I went, what do you mean? We're not hiring. I said, just give me a quiz. I'll just sit something.
A quiz. Is that what you guys called it back then? Oh, I love it. Yeah, give me a trivia quiz. Give me a range of questions.
Yeah, they had this music quiz, and I actually said it, and I was like, right, here you go. Here's my number, and I don't know. I think it was maybe, I can't remember.
Here's my number. Call me for business.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, I don't know whether it was a week. It wasn't long. The girl resigned. I got the job, and that was it. Like, I've never left the music business from that point. You know, was, and yeah, it's just been the way since that moment, really. Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to track back, Michelle, to when you said your mantras that you were doing before the show. What type of mantras do you do? Is it along the lines of, daily affirmations and things like that? What were you saying to yourself? Don't get nervous on Luke Farr's show. Don't get nervous on Luke Farr's set. Or was it more?
No, these mantras actually were in Sanskrit, and they were basically just about peace, just peace and calm, peace and calm.
Cool.
Anything that's repetitive, with the right vibration, will just start to kind of get in you, and it just, again, funnily enough,
it starts manifesting, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, traveling all around like I have pretty much on my own as the manager, I really remember this really quite significant moment when I was in New York. It was just before Christmas. It was snowing, it was cold, and I was walking to a record label to have a meeting for an artist I was working with. And it was the first time I was going into this big building in this big American or New York City record label. And I just remember looking out on the street and going, you know what, I've got the breath, I've got the yoga breath. Michelle, just breathe. Michelle, just breathe. You've got your breath with you all the time. You've got your friend, And I remember just bringing in this breath as I was walking down the street, walking into the record company, 6 men in front of me or 5 men in front of me, all, in their suits. And I'm just, this young girl from New Zealand. But the breathing helped center me. It helped me feel like I wasn't alone. And it just gave me.
What were you doing? Just a simple 4 count? 4 or 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out? No.
Just long pause and then exhale in and out through the tummy.
Through the nose?
Yeah, through the nose, mouth closed.
Mouth closed. I love it. Big shout out to my boy Jock Barnes Graham from Yoga Send. I've been doing a lot of breathing work with him, and he's really, really good. Same, but no, I do want to shout out too, because I interviewed Steve Hill from Inner Oasis. He's like breath guru of New Zealand. But love their work, and I seriously have. I'm an anxious human, and my breathing's always out of kilter, and it's just I'm an amateur on this breathing, Jenny. They're like holding for 16 now, and I'm doing this breath work with them, and I'm like, I can't hold for 4, dog. I'm like, they're like out through the nose. I'm like, I have to do the big exhale out through the mouth.
Oh my gosh! But
where are you at with your breathing, Jenny? Pretty good.
No, I don't. I just, for me, it's a lot more simple. For me, it's more just about the long, the deep inhale, and for me, it's all about that pause, because that pause loop is what helps me to respond to life and to situations a hell of a lot better than without it. So whenever I'm going anywhere, if I'm feeling a little bit anxious or whatever, or I want to just be a good, mother or daughter or whatever, I just do the breathing. And just, and so
you did those. So track back to that big building, the big executives. I do want to talk about that. Obviously the music industry being quite heavily male dominated. In fact, I read that actually Shakira quoted that because she was quite baffled by it. So you go into the building, you've done your breathing, and you're feeling very centered. How did it go?
It went great. It went really well. It went great. And I think because when I'm representing someone, I'm like I got this from Jazz Summers, I'll fight for you. I don't compromise, I don't settle, and I really believe in the value of the art. And the way that I've managed, Luke, is we don't go looking. So when I'm in a meeting, it's because they've come to us. It's kind of like that lighthouse philosophy, of just solid ground.
Well, yeah, it's not too dissimilar to a female approaching a man at the bar. It's like that, so you've automatically got points because she's actually approached you, right? So you're a little bit more relaxed. You haven't gone to her, so you're not as, you know what I mean, though. It's like when when they've seeked you out, you're like, oh well,
Exactly.
you're the you're not the underdog. You're
No,
the,
no,
you're the one on top.
Yeah.
You got control to a certain
Exactly.
degree. Yeah.
No, 100%, 100%, 100%. You know, and if you're not desperate and you don't need it, and you know, then you're in this kind of more centered place. You know, this more you know, and that's when I think that you're able to negotiate whatever it is that you know want to get for your artist, or whatever it is, a lot easier.
Yeah. How do you navigate all like the big egos and the fame that, I mean, obviously the industry is rife for that. I mean, how do you keep a cool head in crisis and manage these really big egos, not only from a record label point of view in the boardroom with a lot of, you know, that masculine energy of ego, but like artists too, that you know, that think they're Prince, but when they're not?
It's a great question, because it's not easy. It's not easy. It really isn't. And I think for me, it's always been really tricky, because I am a yoga teacher, and I've done, you know, like spirituality, thinking about other people, being a team member, being a team player, you know, being a go-giver, not a go-getter. Kind of don't really fit in the music business, you know. And so for me, because I'm so heavily in, I've always felt like I'm in a nightclub and a yoga studio, you know, like I've always felt that. I've never just been in the music, you know, in the nightclub.
It's not a bad parallel though, yoga studio and nightclub at the same time. I mean, I love the sound of that. In fact, aren't the isn't there some promoter in Auckland doing those morning raves up the Sky Tower, like what's it called, Dancing People or something?
Sorry.
Oh yeah, they do this kind of like breathwork yoga, but then there's a DJ and you can dance at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's been happening down at Queen's Wharf, actually. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, Aroha is the DJ. I don't know if you know Aroha. She's actually coming on the show soon, but she's played there before. It's a really cool concept.
I love it. Because I love that. Yeah. No, but it's not easy, and especially when you start working with an artist and you start developing them, and they're super humble and they're super grateful and they're super thankful, and then you start delivering results, and they go, oh, I'm never gonna let my ego get out of hand. But then you just watch the change, and it's not easy.
I can imagine it wouldn't be easy.
Yeah, unless you want to become like a yes person, which I'm not.
No, advice to the audience out there: never become a yes person. Learn how to say no.
Yeah.
And be comfortable in your no. But if you say yes to everything, you will be running around like a headless chicken.
Yeah, you just become a PA to the artist, really.
Yeah.
You know, and basically, if you really care about what you do, and you're there to kind of manage the artist, and that's your life, you know what I mean? Like, we as managers, that's our life. It's not just we're there to advise. And if we see stuff happening that's, you know, we can't just go, oh yes, that's fine. So it's not easy, and it happens a lot.
I can imagine. Solid insights there, because there are a lot of, I mean, not only in Europe, in every industry, it's always that person you're working with that's the yes person, and you're just like, yeah, shoot me anyway. Hey, I do want to take this huge segue here, but I do want to take a lovely opportunity to shout out my amazing sponsor. In fact, Michelle, you might like this product, and certainly not trying to promote it to you, but I actually use it too, because it is a unisex, very good hydration cream. It's called Autophagy Skincare, but they're from Hawke's Bay. She's from Hawke's Bay, Vanya Bailey. Very committed to the environment by helping reduce the carbon footprint. Their box is made out of, like sustainable, forest-based vegetable ink. And also the packaging is out of sugarcane pulp, which is cool.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I use it super fresh, and so it's made out of like pomegranate, green tea extract, kawa kawa. Really cool. Visit guys www.autophagyskincare.com for more info. But anyway, back to Michelle, our guest here.
Send me a link. I'd love to check it out.
Even better, I'll send you some product.
I'd love that. I'd really love that. That's cool.
100%. Yeah, no, definitely. No, I'll get your address at the end and I'll send you something.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's talk. I want to talk about like negotiating deals and contracts for artists, which you have so much experience in. Like what are the biggest challenges, Michelle, when it comes to that? Obviously, there's huge amount of negotiating. Like you say, you're not the yes person. So yeah, what skills have you learned and what have been the biggest challenges for you when it comes to negotiating really big contracts for artists?
I think the first challenge, which needs to be discussed between the manager and the artist, is the artist having patience. Okay, because most artists, generally want it all now, right? But if you can discuss, I'm here for your best interests, right? I'm only here to help you get what you truly deserve. Now that might just take a minute longer, but we'll get it because I really believe in your music, right? But if the artist is like, no, we've got this deal now, and Atlantic have rung and they want to give us this deal and we want you to sign it. But guys, just wait a second, just wait until we build up the value of your product, right? So that's the magic. So if you can, and it's worked. So if you build
yeah, you're like, this is not my first rodeo, Luke.
No. So if you can build up, if you can basically, first and foremost, with the artist, you've got to develop a sense of trust and respect. So typically the artists have found me. So they've come to me because they know of what I've done, right? So that's how I've ended up with artists, is they've actually come to me, right? So can I just gotta jump in there.
You must have built up like such value and brand already for them to come to you, right? Like that's what I call in sales like an inbound lead that's like warm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
They're calling you, so it's like what we were talking about earlier. Like you've got kind of the step over them in some form way because they've seeked you out. But how did you get to that point when they've found you already?
Oh, right. By being authentic, honest, true, passionate, and consistent. Because I don't know, when I remember when Instagram came out, I was in America, I don't know where, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna, I don't want to set up an account and everyone know what I'm doing, So a lot of that inbound, what do you call it?
Oh, like an inbound lead.
Yeah, a lot of the inbound lead happened pre-Instagram, right?
Hang on, Michelle. You're supposed to be teaching me here. Let's be honest, and the audience. Yeah. I'm not the thought leader here. Let's get that really clear, audience. Yeah. Michelle's the guru. But yeah, so those inbound leads. So how are you navigating that?
Basically results. I really believe it's just result driven, it's just facts. It's just like, so when I manage bands in LA, when the first band I managed, I wasn't even a manager. I'd never managed an act, and they were being headhunted by two of the top music managers in Los Angeles, right? I'm just Michelle from New Zealand, from Auckland, and I happened to get introduced to them at a session, and the artist that the session was, he was like, you need to manage them, and I was like, I'm not a manager. They chose me. They chose me from a meeting that we had in Los Angeles, and basically it was just me being true. If I don't know, I'll find out. Like if I don't have the answer, I'll figure it out, because everything is figure outable. But what I will do is that I will be so truthful and so honest with everything that we do. And so I didn't say to them, oh, I'm going to get you this huge deal, or I'm going to get you that. I was just really me. And I think there's something so wonderful about Kiwis, and I think we've got this really down to earth, grounded way about us that shines. And all these years in America, I never lost my accent. You know, I'm a true Kiwi girl, you know.
You haven't. No, you've actually got quite a strong Kiwi accent.
Yeah.
But it is true. Yeah, New Zealanders are we're very grounded. We don't take bullshit. We don't like anyone trying to pull wool over our eyes, do we?
No.
I guess that's where our Aussie counterparts that like to talk a hyped game. That's where we clash. It's like, we're a little bit more humble. We've got a little bit more humility, but the Aussies like to talk before they walk.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that you just hit the nail on the button right there about the hype, because I don't oversell. Like I'm not in I've never had an office in a high-rise building. Like I've never oversold what I do, because you that happens so much. I got called to Soho Club in Los Angeles from a friend of mine from London to speak to an artist who was so talented, Luke. She was so talented. She was so beautiful. And she was getting pitched from managers and producers.
Is she single?
Yeah, but it was just all hype.
Yeah, okay. We'll send them my details. Send them my details. Thank you.
Yeah, and it was just all that hype, though. So I think, anyway, long story short, going back to how I started as a manager because of just being who I am, really, without knowing the skills of being a manager, right? And
yeah. That's interesting. And then so you would have learned so many skills along the way, like really so when you're saying that a lot of things are coming to you. So did you I'm just trying to frame this from my sort of I guess new business development kind of sales head. We reach out to cold markets, or you go to a range of gigs and festivals where you look for bands that are hot and that you could get on board with. Were you sort of were you seeking out no, so it was always right, gotcha.
Always came. I've had bands get on, find a way to backstage at concerts in Boston when I was on tour, and I didn't have a chance to chat with them. Next minute they'd finding a way to get onto the tour bus just to give me a demo, and this is now we're in the world of social media, right? So now they're seeing bands usually.
I bet you got an Instagram now.
Yeah. I was, oh God, I better hurry. I better get on this. God, I better get on this.
You've got your link tree up. You've got it. I bet you it's this absolute yeah.
God, I'm across it all now. God.
Yeah.
But it was all, everything happened as a result of what I was doing for other bands. And then, a band from New York that I managed came to me through musicians, through the fathers of the band, actually, who were New York musicians, who were like, you can trust her. And I think that's a huge thing, Luke. It's just don't just talk it. You got to be it. You really, and be consistent, and I think it was, these bands were like, oh my God, she's doing this with that band. And so that's how so, if you're starting a new business, my thing is just be consistent, don't give up. Just keep going. Even if it's, as we spoke about earlier, you've got 5, Instagram followers, be consistent, be true, and really know that there is an audience, there is a market for whatever it is that you're doing. I truly believe that. So the more you're yourself, the more authentic you are, Luke, or you'll attract us to you. You'll attract the right people to you by you being who you are.
Yeah. True to yourself. Yeah, that's so true. And also, I love a nice analogy. In fact, I just made this analogy up in my head, but I used to surf a lot. But it's a good analogy when you're saying, be, consistent regardless of, what's coming at you. Like from the surfing analogy, when you're paddling out the back, the consistency comes from every stroke from left to right, but you're doing the same thing. mind you, at the same time, those waves, there's massive waves that come over to bowl you over, and that's the analogy to life. Like, things are going to come at you hard and fast and push you off your pedestal. But if you just keep that paddle, you always get out the back, which is out the back to then catch that next wave, right?
100%. Love that. I love
that consistent paddle gets you to where you need to be eventually. But yeah, there's going to be shit along the way, and it's going to be rough, but you'll get there in the end.
I love that. It's 100%, and it will happen. Like it's just you. If you're not about the journey, if you're not about the love of surfing, so for like the love of surfing, you've got to paddle out, right? But if you're not prepared to paddle out because you just want to get that wave close to shore or whatever, but
yeah, that's another good. That's another really good point. Yeah, you're gonna get the shit if you're not prepared and you're not in it. Like you're just gonna get the dregs, which is really lackluster. Lackluster stuff.
And if you're a musician who you think you've written this great song, but you don't want to engage with your fans on Instagram, but you think that you should have this record deal, and then you might somehow get this offer, right? The offer will be shit. I'm telling you right now, because there's no value in the song, there's no fan base, there's no connection, there's none of those things which build up your value, right? So the deal will be pretty shit. There's no audience, the song won't go anywhere, so the artist will get dropped. But if you're just waking up excited about writing a song or creating a product, being true about it, and it will happen, man. It will fly. It will fly. But you've got to be patient and about the journey. I really believe that.
Who do you think are the most successful New Zealand? Okay, but let's just bypass 660. But let's talk about other New Zealand art. Okay, and let's bypass Lord, and but other ones that are, I guess not so on the top of everyone's head at the moment. But what would you say in the last 10 years have been some of the most successful New Zealand artists? Yeah, shout out the Feelers and Head Like a Hole. Didn't quite make it, but they're great at the time.
Yeah, gosh, you know what? That is such a really good question, because I'm having trouble kind of even thinking about who.
Even like Benny's popping off right now. Marikai from Raglan, he's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about within New Zealand or internationally?
Oh no, just literally New Zealand artists that are kind of groundbreaking going overseas. Because we can't talk about the laws in the 60s, they've already done that. But I should have been more specific about my question. So, like up and coming emerging artists.
Oh, I love Mild Orange. And
Mild Orange, oh yeah.
Oh, I think they're from Dunedin, and they've just. Them and their girlfriends, they've done what I think is awesome, man. They've just gone, right, we're serious about this, so we're going to all move to London and we're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is what I would be doing if I was in the band. I think that is just so bang on awesome, right?
Yeah.
I love Mild Orange. I love Soaked Oats. They're another band from Christchurch or Dunedin.
Oh my God, I've just had an epiphany. I've just clicked. This is hilarious. Oh my God, I met you through Sam Bayliss and the boys at sheesh, what's the bloody bar?
No way.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. What's the bar? Oh, I've forgotten the name. Grayling. Gypsy Tea Rooms.
Yeah.
They're a band that came up from Dunedin. They're called the Seaside Stranglers.
No.
Okay, not you.
No.
Okay, right. I'm glad we've cleared that up.
I thought, my God, have I met you? I can't believe. No, we've not met.
No, okay, someone else. No, but yeah. Okay, well, you obviously have a twin. That's all. But
right. Yeah. I get that a lot. Trust me, I get it. I get that a lot. Yeah, I get that a lot. No, and I've not heard of that band, but if they're from Dunedin, I'm going to check them out. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're based out of Arrowtown, Queenstown. The Seaside Stranglers. They played at Nest Fest, which is a cute little festival at Blackburn Vineyard in Hawke's Bay.
Yep.
They're actually really good. They tour around New Zealand. They're doing wonders. Yeah, they're doing good stuff.
Oh wow, no, let's check them out. Yeah, no, I think mild orange and soaked oats, and I love them. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
yeah,
very good.
yeah.
Let's talk about like these sort of, like big name art, like big pop artists, the Biebers, Taylor Swifts, Harry Styles, whatever. I mean, what in your experience, Michelle, like what do you think the key ingredients that, either their managers or everyone around them are using, which contributes to their ultimate success besides just being a raw talent, musically?
It's the music.
Do you think so?
The music is connecting. So like when I said to you before, like when I listen to a song, like when I listened to No Wild's first song, I listened to 30 seconds of it and I went, oh my God, the world needs to hear, like, this is just, and it happened. It just blew up. But
yeah,
Harry Styles, Taylor Swift, it's the music. It's literally the quality of the music and that those songs. It's what the world needs to hear right now, or whatever. That's what's connecting.
yeah,
And then you've got all those boxes ticked of the artist and then the management team and then the label. So it's not easy, like for Harry Styles, it's not easy to get that formula. People might think it is, but it's not easy. There's a lot of boxes that need to be checked. And I think that one of the most important things as well is that for an artist or a band and their team is to ride those waves together. Right? So just when that big wave comes and then everyone's like, oh, I'm going to jump ship, I'm going to jump off the surfboard, I'm heading back to shore. No, man, like embrace the rough with the mild, with the calm, because you need to be able to trust people in this world, in this business, like that's so key for what ultimately happens big time. But no, I think it's like like if a New Zealand artist wrote this song or was about the right music or whatever and got it out there and then attracted the right management team who was able to then help them to evolve, you need someone who believes in you to just go, right, let's do this, we can look at these, then they're going to evolve and then you'll attract the whatever you need after that. Yeah, it's not impossible, man, but it's not easy either. You've got to check all those boxes.
So true, and you need people in your corner rooting for you, for sure.
That you can trust,
You can trust, 100%, 100%. I mean, is it true though that they all have similar writers? From Harry to Taylor to Rihanna to, they are writing the same narrative, right? It's just maybe the melody of the production and the beats might be different. But as far as the lyrics go, it is true that there is one or two big writers for the American scene, eh?
Yeah, there's writing teams, like in Nashville and LA. Yeah.
I've got strawberries. I can't sing, but that's a Harry tune. But I mean, they're sitting down going, right, what's going to resonate with our audience?
Yeah, it's so cool. I mean, Harry just really connects with so many different people from so many different like walks of life. But if you're not just about the results, if you really are about the music and the art and wanting to share it, it will happen.
Do you think Harry authentically is about the music and the art, or do you think he's in it for the fame and the woman? And I mean, he's not the worst looking guy on earth.
100% about the music, 100% about the art. I've never met him, but I really believe that. I really believe. I think like he was saying for this album, like every song kind of is a little bit different. It doesn't really have like a common kind of like, beat or whatever, but he just wanted to make an album that made him feel happy and that, connected with everyone. And I think he's really about the art.
For sure.
I really do.
And speaking of art, Michelle, there's an art in building relationships and rapport with like a wide variety of personalities, and it's a skill. For the people out there that really sort of haven't organically been born naturally with that skill, how can one develop this skill of connecting with people, building rapport? I mean, you're natural at it. I think I'm pretty natural at it. I mean, I've been in sales many years and it came naturally to me, but I've also got friends that are introverted and find it very hard to connect. But is there anything that, like, what would you advise to the people out there that aren't quite good at it?
I think that if you aren't good at that, and if it's something that you need to be applying in whatever it is that you're doing, find someone that is okay at it and pretty good at it, that you know, and maybe just start, talking to them. I think it's all about someone going, you know what, Luke, you can. You actually can. And you're going to go, oh, Michelle, do you think so? Because, I'm talking to you now and I'm saying, well, you can. And you might start to think, well, Michelle thinks I can. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one. Michelle thinks I can, but there's this little voice in my head that says I can't. I mean, imposter syndrome is a proper thing.
But she's looking at me and she's going, no, Luke, you're actually, like what helped me, like, okay, this might come, this might. I had to get to a point where I had to stop worrying about what other people were thinking about me. It was massive, and like it only happened like a few years ago, or like a while ago, Luke, but it was a massive thing for me. I was constantly holding myself back, because I was worried about what other people were going to think of me if I put my true self out there. Because if I put my true self and people start to not like that or attack me, then oh my God, and it just.
Well, but they're sorry to interrupt, but I mean, okay, what's on the other side of that fence is putting up a facade and then being someone that you're actually not,
and not getting what you
people
deserve.
to like you. I mean, fuck it. I mean, what's worse, right? It's like, totally. Okay, take those two options, people. It's like, yeah, be your true, authentic self and be the real you, and then get that feedback from whatever. I mean, fuck. Yeah. Hey, look, at the end of the day, not everyone's going to like you, or completely keep being an actor your whole life to put up a facade to please people around your social circles and in business. I mean, Jesus Christ, you don't want to be doing that one.
No, and the thing is too, is that what happens is that if you're holding back and you're just kind of like putting up a bit of facade and not really being your true self, you're actually attracting the wrong people into your life. You're not going to actually get what it is that you are wanting or you deserve because you're not being your true self. And I just had to go one day, you know what, decide it. And what really helped me was swimming. I'm not a very good swimmer at all. Like I'm just not. And I got into the pool.
Just straight freestyle?
No, breaststroke.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
I definitely didn't think it was going to be butterfly.
No, God, no. Oh, and I do, British breast, but I love the water. Like, water's everything to me. But I was just like so concerned, Luke, so concerned about what all these people at the bars, at the pool, were going to think of me swimming.
Where are you at the Newmarket one?
Tepid barbs.
Oh, tepid, yeah. Of course you would be. Yeah, yep. We're all the famous go. Yeah, of course, yeah.
I just thought, what, they're all, no, I've just got Michelle, don't worry about what they think. And you know what?
Who cares? And also the funniest thing is they're not. That's our own one. They're not even giving a flying fuck.
Because they're doing what they need to be doing.
But in our own little heads, the ego's going, "Oh my God, they're looking at me. Like, fucking Jesus Christ, what am I doing wrong? They're not worrying about.
No, and that little thing really helped. Also just step out into life and go, Michelle, stop. Don't worry. So I think for someone that is being held back and doesn't know how to, put themselves out there and do what we're talking about, you've just got to trust that your audience or your people, your tribe are out there and will come to you, will resonate with you, align with you, if you can just be yourself and not worry about what other people think. And then the other big life lesson for me was, which really helped me, was not taking things personally. Like, musicians would move on or things would change, and I'd be always going, oh my God, what is it about me? And I'd take it personally. And the moment I realized that it wasn't, that was another tool that really helped me move forward, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Such good insights there. And yeah, I can resonate with that. I'm sure the audience can too. Just it's a very challenging path for one to get to that point where they don't take things on personally. You know, it's a challenge. It's hard to do, right? We're all internal and we all have emotions and we think, okay, geez, well, how have I fucked up? But
yeah, you do.
Oftentimes it's it's actually external to you, and it's a real art and compartmentalizing the two.
Yeah, it really is. And when the moment you get it, it's like, you know, it's great. You can really move on.
And I think a couple of key things there is too, like for example, like being fired, right? Like they're firing you like this is not I don't want to generalize, but sometimes they're firing you for the sake of keeping that business alive profit wise. It's like, it's not that you're a bad human, it's not that you were incapable of doing your actual job and you didn't commit to your remit. It's just the fact that, look, hey, this business might be moving and that role's no longer around. So but what do most people do when they get fired? They take it on personally. Oh my God. They go into that whole, I'm bad, I'm shit, I'm not good enough. It's like, no. It's not about that. Sometimes. No, I mean, sometimes, sorry, to the contrary to that, sometimes you are shit.
Yeah, right. Sometimes you're like, yeah.
And you need to be fired for a reason. But other times, so it's about identifying why you're getting fired in the first place.
100%. And I think too, like what I got a long time ago, thank God I got this, was it's okay. Look, you're not meant to be there. Michelle, there is something else for you. And if you stay here, you're not going to be available for what's coming. And that has happened to me so many times, Luke, you know, not that I've been fired, but things have changed, right? You know, and you go, oh my God, what am I going to do now? And then you go, just look at the opportunity. You are now free and available for something else that is coming. And you can, I've even looked at relationships like that. You know, when a relationship's ended, I've just been going, okay, this has got to be a blessing. This has got to be a blessing because I'm obviously, there's someone else out there or something like that. And I think the biggest piece of wisdom that when I finally got it, that really like shifted gears for me in so many ways, because, you know, I'm who I am, and some things will happen along the way that you go, how could they do this? Like, why would they? And I was always confused about that. And then I came across this quote. I can't remember who it's by, and it was something along the lines of, you know, if you're being kind and peaceful and loving to someone, and they're treating you like crap or whatever, or they move on, and you're like, what have I done? And if you can realize that they are only meeting you as deeply as they have met themselves, that to me, I just went, oh my God, I just only have good feelings towards this person. Because I realize, man, people, you know, you can't expect people to kind of, you know, respond or treat you in a certain way if they haven't gone deeply into themselves already. Just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
That was a game changer for me.
Yeah, it's very fascinating what you said. I mean, do you think there's an element, you know, how we always like, so we look at every scenario in our lives and then we make that mantra of, oh, it wasn't meant to be, and oh, okay, there's another door opening, and you know, we're just rolling by the power and the control of the universe when we trust the universe. So therefore, do you then think that like our lives have been actually completely panned out from birth, and that so everything along the way, from the peaks and the troughs and the ups and the downs and what happens, that's been all like premeditated from birth until death? Like, because I sometimes think of that and go, you know, like when you really want something, then it doesn't work out, and then you sit there and you say to yourself, it just wasn't meant to be. There's something bigger, better for you, and there is a path that someone's trying to push you down, which, like, I'm not religious, but I do believe in universe and energy. But do Do you think like our lives are just literally written by a script and set out from birth?
Somewhat, I do.
Pretty deep question.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't
Yeah.
aiming to go down this with a
Yeah.
music industry entertainment type executive, but we've got here anyway, and I'm glad we have.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, I do. I do. And I think that the more that we
Oh,
can...
I didn't want to hear that. That's so, because then where's the fun in that? Our whole...
No, but I think the magic is that there's things that you've got to learn along the way. Like I think that the more you can learn to get out of your own way, because what you just said is that, we really want this, and then we don't get it, man. That can really take us on a journey mentally that's not that good, right? But if we're able to just take that breath and trust, and it doesn't happen easily. It's a journey, and you can't just learn this stuff overnight.
But our journeys, are you saying our journeys are written by script from birth?
I think so.
But also the where the imagination and fun and sort of spontaneity comes in is that we don't know the script, like the future script, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about what excites you, like in life, like if you're gonna surfing, say, that's something that excites you, so it becomes a thing that you do. And I think that in life, that when we're born and we've got all these like things that are placed in our heart or whatever, you know what I mean? And then as we grow up, we start to follow, like, we might not have the same feelings of excitement of the same things as a lot of people, but if we can follow those, I believe that feeling of excitement leads you on the journey that you're meant to be on.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good, very good call.
That's kind of what I believe, and I do believe that we have free will, and I do believe that we have obviously the ability to say no or whatever, but I do think that if we're able to follow that excitement, it will lead us on the journey that we're meant to be on. Yeah,
good. And phenomenal insights. Not only good, and that's really, really good. I'm sure the audience will find a lot of value in that. Also, what they'll find value in, and I do have to ask you, I mean, you are you must be a great keynote speaker, because I interview a lot of people, but the way your hand gestures correlate to your words, though, so the words coming out your mouth, like you're doing the perfect hand gestures.
Am I?
It must just happen naturally to you, but it is so on point, because your hand gestures, like, okay, for example, when you say like, flow on effect or distributing, it's like really, really engaging.
Oh,
and I can see how you would have got deals over the line from Columbia Records and the like.
Thank you. I don't, now I'm looking at my hands.
Don't get self-conscious about it. It's a positive. It's awesome.
Oh, well, thank you for that observation. I like that. Yeah, I didn't even realize. I know I do talk with my hands, but I kind of didn't really realize that. So yeah.
But you talk with your hands in harmony with the actual context and the verbiage coming out of your mouth. See, a lot of people talk with their hands, but it doesn't make sense to what they're saying, Like, for example, if I was saying, oh, it's a really rough, stormy night, but I'm doing sunshine, it's like, that's contradicting each other.
Got it.
But you've got some really good synergy, and there's a symbiotic relationship, I think, with your hands and what's coming out your mouth. Yeah, that's all.
I like that. Thank you, Luke.
No worries. Me for compliments. Hey, I want to talk about the industry moving forward, the music industry, streaming services, not only the Spotify's and all of that, but where in the next 10 years do you think, with all your experience, where do you think this is heading? Are we going to be able to, maybe we already are, but are we going to be able to track back to like a Bob Dylan concert with a VR headset on and feel like we're actually there? Maybe we're probably already being able to do that, but where do you see this music industry going in the next 10 years?
Gosh, you know what? I just think it's the opportunities and the possibilities are just massive, truly. I think, because I can't keep up at the moment, like truly. I'm still old school. Like I'm still like, if you can't have a band that's going to be out performing to people, then I don't even want to know about it. I'm still about that old school, real connection.
You're still listening to vinyl, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. What beats lying down on the floor with a glass of wine and pulling out the sleeves of an album cover.
Oh, so the tangibility, eh?
Reading where it was recorded and who wrote it, and all of that. But also, that connection that I saw at the Greg Johnson concert with, the fans all moving up to the stage and people moving closer. However, what we've seen through the pandemic with all these live streaming concerts now and the access that we've had to people, artists overseas or whatever from our home in New Zealand. I just think digitally and with everything, I think it's just going to be massive. I do. I don't really have any insight, Luke, into where or how big it's going to be, but it's going to be massive.
Yeah.
I think.
That's awesome. And on the vinyl level, you might have heard the quote from Phil Daniels said, vinyl is a good look at the music industry. The script was honest. Like, that's powerful, eh? That's really powerful. What's your take on that?
I love that. I really, wow.
Vinyl is a good look at the music industry. The script was honest. Wow. It's so powerful, eh?
Phil Daniels.
Phil Daniels?
Yeah.
My God, me and him go way back. Super tight. No.
Who is he?
He's an artist from the States.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, no, that's, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I love that.
What's your favorite? If you were to put on a vinyl on a Friday evening with a glass of wine, what would it be? You're thinking about this.
Oh God, I am. God, who would it be? Oh God. Right now would probably be Liam Gallagher.
Oh, Liam, yeah, nice one. Yeah,
Liam.
I can resonate with that. Sorry, I just like to fact check sometimes. I thought Phil was out of the States. He's an English actor and musician and singer, most noted for film and television roles playing Londoners, such as the lead role of Jimmy Cooper in Quadrophenia.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm going to
63 from Islington anyway. I thought I'd just get it.
Yeah.
Good
yeah, no. Liam Gallagher with a glass of wine on a Friday night. Yeah, right now that would be who I would be listening to.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Hey, Michelle Bakker, that's all we've got time for today. Oh my God, we've almost gone 2 hours, and that's how good the chat's been. But seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming on the show. I've really appreciated the chats and the insights. And you're a weapon. You're amazing, and I'm sure the audience will find a lot of invaluable insights from this conversation. But thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you. I know we could talk for hours. It's been great.
Yeah. Well, now we're just going to go into the sport chat show. So hopefully you got another hour up your sleeve. You're going to talk about Fozzie, which you nickname. I mean, I love that. But no, in all sincerity, thank you for coming on. I do want to do another lovely thank you to Julie Smith from Property Brokers, who's another sponsor from the Hawke's Bay. I know her personally, but she is a weapon. She's always bubbly and approachable. She's quick to break barriers. She's got great listening skills. She understands how stressful it is buying or selling houses. So she's got a strong sense of empathy. And Julie is an all-around human. But yeah, give her a call, 027 501 9292, or check out Julie Smith Real Estate.propertybrokers.co.nz. But yeah, thank you all. And thank you, Michelle, for coming on. I'll wrap this up quickly, and then we'll do a quick debrief.
Awesome.